Hi guys, I'm Izzy.
And I'm Jake.
And in June, we quit our jobs and booked a one-way flight to backpack around the world. We have decided to make videos along the way of travel tips, advice, how to backpack on a budget, and general vlogs of what we get up to. If you would like to follow us on our journey, please subscribe and enjoy the video.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry you've not seen a video from us in a while. We've been ill with a cold.
Yeah, we've come down with a cold or something.
Yeah.
We're just getting rid of it now, so we're back.
And the only downside to being ill as a couple, it means that as soon as one of you gets it, the other one's
going to get ill.
So this time Jake had it first.
I started it first and I'll give it to Izzy, but I think we're both getting rid of it.
Yeah. So we've had plenty of tea. Shout out to Rowan Kento for getting us that Japanese
Royal
tea.
milk tea. Honestly, we need that imported. Imported. It's just like a tea mix with like sugar and milk already inside it, like milk powder.
Yeah.
It's just so nice.
It is so
It
good.
saved us.
And it
really
tastes way
saved us.
nicer than just like English breakfast tea, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it does,
It's
doesn't
so
it?
good.
It really does.
But yeah, so today's video is our 6-month travel update. As when we're filming this, it's been exactly 6 months.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's gone like that.
We left June the 15th.
June the 19th.
We left June the 15th from our home near Newcastle, and then we went down to Jake's grandparents, and then we left on the 19th.
And then 19th. So we've been gone officially 6 months today, which is crazy because, like I said, it's literally gone in a heartbeat. It feels like India was a year or 2 years ago.
11 countries in 6 months. Like Jake just said, we started off in India. We're currently in the Philippines. If you watched our last video, not our last video, but our last travel update video, our 3-month travel update video, we talked about India, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Cambodia and Vietnam. We were in Vietnam when we were filming that. Yeah. And now we're in the Philippines and we've done Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia and the Philippines.
Yes.
And like Jake said, I can't believe how fast it's gone. I can't believe we've done that many countries in what feels like such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Initially we didn't think we'd do Asia this quickly, but we also thought it would be a lot cheaper as well, which is why we kind of thought it would be a bit longer.
Kind of, and also visas. Visas are a bit of a nightmare because they cost a lot of money, and we're cheap backpackers, so we just try and do everything.
COVID actually really changed a lot of the visas. When I came travelling back in 2019, you didn't need a visa for Indonesia. Did we buy one for Malaysia? No, but Indonesia you didn't need one for, but we had to buy one for there. Thailand we didn't need one for, Malaysia we didn't. Singapore you have to do like an entry
but it's free.
But it's free.
Yeah,
but we only spent 1 day in Singapore because it was really expensive. And the Philippines we didn't need a visa for, and you can spend 90 days in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, 90
but the
days.
Rest are 30.
The rest of most of them are 30. But 90 days so far. We spent 3 weeks here so far, and we are enjoying the Philippines. The Philippines is quite nice.
Yeah, we're going to be here for Christmas, which feels really weird as well.
Yeah.
Our first Christmas not at home, our first
No
Christmas
roast
not
dinner,
in the cold.
no Christmas crackers with the pats. It's gonna be weird just having Christmas in the sun.
Yeah,
like,
it already feels
it's
weird.
so hot. It's like I know I'm complaining. I know you might be watching this thinking it's freezing in England.
Yeah,
but
with all the rain and stuff.
honestly, the things I do for some snow.
Oh, sorry if we keep looking down, by the way. I've got like notes about everything, so that's all we keep looking at. But yeah, so in the 6 months we've been away, we've roughly spent about 1,000 each a month. It varies on each country. For example, the last month we bought everything up until Australia, so that was a pretty expensive
That was
month.
good. Yeah. Bank balance definitely. Took a
hit on
that.
And then the month before that in Singapore, we spent in 2 nights in Singapore what we would for like 2 weeks in Thailand. So again, that was a bigger cost. We've touched on a lot of the costs in our monthly newsletter, which I put out each month. There's always a link to that in every video description, and there's also one linked in the channel description and our Instagram bio if you want like a full breakdown of everything we've spent so far.
Go give it a read. It's really worth a read.
Just in case you want to see how much it costs, or you're just nosy about how much we're spending.
Before going travelling, that was the main thing. I was like wondering how much things cost, and I couldn't really find it anywhere. So Izzy's newsletter, if you're looking for something like that, is absolutely perfect to go watch. So definitely go watch that. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, we planned. Well, we didn't really plan of how long we were going to do it. We just had like a least amount of time, and your least amount of time that you wanted to do was like, how long was it?
A year, I think.
About a year.
In total.
So we've done about 7 months by the end of leaving in Asia. And honestly, I don't know how we could do more unless we went to like different countries like Nepal and Laos and stuff like that. But we're going to be in Australia for like a year.
Yeah, we arrive in Australia on
Boxing Day.
December the 20th. Well, we leave the 26th, but we
Yeah,
arrive the 27th because of
yeah.
how long the flight is. And then we've got the work visa for Australia, but because going to Australia is a whole process, we're going to do a whole video on that because
it is so hard.
A lot of
Yeah.
I've made some notes for that video, and that covers 3 pages of my notebook. Because
and this video, the 6-month travel update, is only like a page and a half, so that just shows how much that actually is.
But yeah, so before we went away, like Jake said, we literally had no plans. We booked our flight to India, and we actually had accommodation booked out of India for Nepal, which a couple of days before leaving England, we actually decided we didn't want to do anymore because we were feeling really uncomfortable with the land border from India to Nepal, as we'd never done one before, and arriving in India, we're really glad we did that, weren't we?
Well.
Because even just in the airport in India, it was so hectic. Like, we can't even imagine what it would be like doing a land border
and then he went
from
back
India.
home, just off India, like
hectic.
literally. I was wearing my hoodie, and I was like, just come off the England, you know, it's cold. Get there, and there's about 1,000 people just surrounding me, and they're like, "Oh, do you want a taxi?" I'm like, "Oh my."
There were so many people. It was mental. So a land border mixed with the fact that if you missed the next bus or anything, you'd be stuck there. And it's a bit like India is a bit in those kind of situations. Obviously, walking the streets, you get maybe a few people quite a lot of people asking for money. But in those situations, like at a border crossing or anything, like we read a lot of things online saying that a lot of people will come up to you and try and get you to come in their taxis, and they'll charge you a fortune, or they'll like try and illegally get you across the border. So we decided to not do Nepal and fly straight to Japan. And then we spent 2 weeks in Japan.
Yeah, and Japan
which was lovely.
Absolutely amazing.
Is it still your favourite?
Still my favourite country, yeah, by far. Japan was absolutely amazing, just everything about it. I'd love to go back one day, and hopefully we will.
So we did 2 weeks in India, 2 weeks in Japan, and then we flew to
South Korea. And we done 2 weeks in South Korea. South Korea was cool.
We really loved our hotel there because you got loads of free drinks.
Yeah, they had like a massive fridge, and they were like, "Oh, your drinks are free." So we got like iced coffees, waters, apple juices, all that for free. That was really good.
Our favourite hotel room, I would say, as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
with the best value for money.
It was only 2 rated stars as well.
It was really
our favourite
good,
as well, so it was really good.
And then we flew to Hong Kong,
which
our favourite hotel.
Hong Kong's beautiful, don't get me wrong, really beautiful, but just not a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not a vibe.
Yeah, I don't know whether we stayed in Chungking Mansions, where there's like loads of stalls, markets, and like hotels, rooms in there. But yeah, not good. Not great.
We won't be going back.
No,
it's too expensive. We hated that hotel that much. We tried to get a Holiday Inn for a couple of nights.
Thinking, in England, Holiday
Inns are like a budget hotel.
It was going to be 2,000 for the rest of our time, and we only spent a week in Hong Kong.
Yeah, that just shows how much it is.
Yeah.
So we were like, no, thank you.
And then we touched on this in our last video, but we initially wanted to do Hong Kong to Vietnam and then do land crossings from Vietnam to Cambodia and then Cambodia to Thailand. However, the time it was, they were just about to change the visa requirements for Vietnam. So while we were in South Korea, you could only have 15 days in Vietnam.
30. No, 50, because we were going to do land border, weren't we? So it was only 15 days. So you could only do 15
days in Vietnam. But then when we got to Hong Kong, it said that from August the 15th or something it was, that it changed it to 45 days. So we were like, well, we definitely want to make the most of that. So we flew to Cambodia next after Hong Kong and spent the 30 days there.
Yeah.
And then we flew to, because you needed a visa for Cambodia, which is why we didn't do a land border crossing to Vietnam, because we would have had to go back through Cambodia.
Which is a bit of a nightmare.
Either way, so we would have had to get another visa. So we just flew to Vietnam, we did the 45 days there, and then flew to Thailand, where we did 30 days.
Yeah.
And Thailand was so lovely.
Thailand was amazing. Thailand's like my joint first, maybe like close second country. Thailand's amazing. Especially the little island called Koh Lanta.
Koh Lanta was so lovely, yeah. Jake's getting a haircut.
I'm going to get a haircut today. I need to, honestly. It's 2 months now. I look like...
So yeah, we did Thailand next for 30 days, and then we went down to Malaysia.
2 weeks?
2 weeks we did in Malaysia.
To Malaysia, yeah.
Yeah, and then Malaysia was nice. We enjoyed it there. And then we got a bus, our first land crossing, we got a bus down to Singapore, which was actually really easy and straightforward. So we were a little bit gutted that we had to do it in a kind of jumbled up way, because the land border crossings would have been so much cheaper and longer but cheaper, which is
It was
what,
an
what we like.
experience.
But yeah, so then we only, like we said, did 2 nights in Singapore because, oh my god, that is so expensive. And then we flew
To Bali.
And we spent 30 days there, and I think Bali's my favourite. We had such a lovely time there. We saw the dolphins, we saw turtles, but literally we stayed in Amed, which is in the north of Bali. And the hotel we were staying in, you literally could just swim in the sea right in front of the hotel, and there were just turtles in there.
And you rent snorkeling stuff off there,
Yeah.
so it was an experience that we'll never forget.
It was amazing.
Absolutely never forget.
Yeah, we also went to Nusa Penida, and then we went to Ubud and every place like that. And Indonesia was really nice. And then we flew to Manila in the Philippines.
And that's where we are now, and we're here for 1 more week.
Obviously, we know there's so much more in the Philippines to see, like all the islands and things like that. But with Jake not being as keen on flying and us just wanting to save as much money as possible now before Australia, we just thought we'd stay in Manila up until, because we've got jobs in Australia, so the way it's worked out is that we would have wanted to go to Australia a bit earlier, so we weren't spending as long in Manila, but it's really expensive to stay in Australia when you don't have the staff accommodation like we do with our job, but we can only get that from January time.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, we'll stay where it's cheaper in the Philippines up until Boxing Day, and then we're only spending a week in Sydney. But even then, a week in Sydney was £400 for us both. In relation, that was like the most we spent in our whole month in Thailand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we're only going to do a week in Sydney, and then we start our jobs there.
Yeah.
Which feels crazy to think we're going to be in Australia by the end of the year.
It's going to feel weird working again.
It's going to feel really
6 months of not working, we're pretty anxious about it, to be honest.
Yeah, we're
it's money.
Each day as it comes. We're only planning on working
3-4 months.
Maximum 4 months, so that we can travel around the rest of it. We want to get a camper van and do everything like that, but stay tuned for all those kind of videos.
Absolutely quality.
I've got, would we return to any countries we've been to?
I would return to every single one bar India.
We would definitely, and we are definitely going to go back to Japan. I'd love to go back to Thailand as well.
I'd honestly, like I said, every country you just named up there, I think we'd generally go back bar India and Hong Kong and Singapore.
And maybe Singapore.
Just for the prices.
Yeah.
Hong Kong and Singapore just because of the prices, but we would go to every single one, and we're definitely going to go back to Thailand, Japan. That's on our top of our to-do list.
Do we have any regrets?
Going to India.
See, I don't regret going to India because I really wanted to see the Taj Mahal, and I did think seeing a whole different culture in India was amazing to see. It was a massive culture shock, but it does make you feel extremely grateful for what you have when you go to places like India.
It was an eye-opener, 100%.
But travel-wise, I wouldn't regret anything, really. I don't think we've spent more money than what we wanted to. Obviously, back in like April of this year, we thought it was going to be like really, really cheap, and we thought we'd only be spending like £5 a day. But that's not realistic unless you're going for a short period of time, I feel, because when you're doing it like we are and doing it for a really long period of time, you don't really want to skimp on things that like you start to miss.
Yeah.
For example, say if we'd only decided to go for 2 months, I reckon we probably would have done it like £2 a day, like only eat like noodles. And right when I went away the first time, I was very much like, I'm not going to spend any money. I'm going to keep it like as cheap food every day. Whereas like, because we're doing it for a long time, we've maybe had like,
you got to enjoy yourself.
Some Western food. We do treat ourselves to McDonald's every now and then, because why not? We're basically living away for a whole like 18 months.
I can't eat noodles and rice all the time.
Yeah.
We've done that for a lot in like Thailand and stuff, and ate rice, and it's put me off rice now, egg fried rice especially. I can't eat it anymore. So.
But yeah, no other regrets.
Tips for traveling.
Yeah, because this is officially the end of our time in Asia, really. After we leave here, that was kind of our backpacking through Asia part of the journey done. A few tips I wrote down for travelling through Asia. If you want to see like a full video on that, let us know, because there's definitely a lot we could talk about.
Yeah, definitely a lot you can talk about.
But
100%.
some things that I would definitely recommend is always check the Gov website for visas, anything you need to do to enter the country. We met a few people, didn't we, that said, oh, I had no idea that we had to fill out this QR code link before entering. Always check the Gov website for things like that. They've got pretty much everything you need on there.
Yeah, it's
be careful going out at night by yourself, especially in places like India. I would also say maybe like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia.
I would say
always
just be careful everywhere, like where you go.
Yeah.
Use Grab, the taxi/food delivery place. That is the most reliable one, and you won't get foreigner prices. You'll get the straight price, and it's the cheapest price that you could possibly get, unless you've got a friend or something.
And they're always safe. They'll always get you to your destination because it's all tracked through their app and everything. So it's 100% safe to use, and the prices, like Jake said, are always really good. Yeah,
the legit taxi drivers. Obviously, don't get absolutely blasted, like blasted drunk. Obviously you get drunk and stuff, but just
we've had a few nights out towards
just be careful of your surroundings, really, because there's dodgy people everywhere you go, so you've always got to be careful. And my biggest advice is I wouldn't go out alone at night.
I would also say, before we went away, we talked to a lot of people and read a lot of things online that said to always keep your passport and like all of your valuables on you. I would actually say not to do that, because in reality you have way more risk of someone pickpocketing you or just taking your bag or anything like that than it would be locked up in your hotel. So yes, you could have housekeepers come in and there's that risk, but if you lock it away, that there's little to no risk leaving it in the hotel room, and it's going to be there when you get back. Rather, there was towards the start of the trip we were keeping everything on us, weren't we? And you just feel so like skitsy the entire time, because you're like, if somebody took my bag right now, we wouldn't even know what to do. We couldn't even get back to the hotel. So I would actually recommend to keep your things at your hotel locked away. Or hostel.
My Geordie's running out, rubbing off on Isabel. She just said skitsy. Adopted Geordie, but yeah, that's definitely stuff I would do. Have you got any more tips that you would give people?
Food and drink. People always say, be careful with ice, be careful with tap water. We've actually been all right with ice. Our taxi driver from Bali Airport actually said to us, if it comes in cube form, you're usually always fine with that, because it means they're buying it in. It's when it's in shaved form, like shaved ice. Then
any irregular shapes, that's not a cube shape.
Because it means they're either making it themselves or So, but we've maybe had a few upset stomach issues.
Delhi. In India, I had a bad belly. Bali, I had a bad belly.
Bali
belly.
Bad belly.
I do. I bought these, just like the little snack, these burgers that were 15,000. That works out was like 20 pence.
That was yours, wasn't it? Which is more food poisoning rather than Bali belly, I feel. Whereas mine, I got really ill after the dolphin trip, because I get really seasick anyway. But then I came back and I was not good, was I? So I don't know whether that was like the seasick messing up my stomach or something.
It was hilarious. We just come off the boat and Izzy's like proper sick, and you've got everyone trying to sell you everything, souvenirs and stuff, and he's like,
I was like sitting next to the toilet, like waiting to go in, and this woman was like, "Would you like bracelet?" I was like, "You're really gonna have to leave me alone, because I'm gonna be sick on you if you don't step away from me." But yeah, so always be careful about things like that. Salads, people say as well.
I would say traveling is the best thing I've ever done. Don't know about it. We've spoke about it. It's the best thing that we've ever done in my life. It's opened my eyes to see the world for what it is, not just England. Understand that you really don't need all these fashionable living thing, like materialistic things to make you happy, because I've seen people with absolutely nothing, with just the mum and the brother, and they're the happiest people I've ever seen in the world. And that's made me realise that all this money, it just doesn't matter. Just be happy.
We've met so many children, haven't we? We've bought a lot of children like toys and things over the time, because there was one.
But we don't film it because we don't want to.
No, it's just something we like to do.
Yeah.
Like in Cambodia, we were staying in.
Kampot.
Kampot. And there were these like 3 kids, and they were just playing with like the dirt and sand on the side of the road. So we just bought them some gifts, and we've it's nothing to us, but it really means a lot to them. Like they always like give us so many hugs and everything, don't they? That's so cute.
And I met this lad in Bali, and he was a really nice lad. He loved football and stuff. And
he was 18, wasn't he?
He was 18 years old, so he wasn't a kid. And I found out how much he got paid a month, and he works 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day, and he comes out with $1 million. Now, $1 million works out as 75 quid or something like that. And we give him 500,000 just to say thank you, for being such a nice person. We don't film it because we don't want to feel like we're doing it to get views. We're just doing it.
You also gave him one of your football tops.
I gave him one of my football tops as well. I'll give him a Dortmund top because I don't like Dortmund. But
yeah, it's just little things for us, but really big things to them. I mean, like the money that we gave him was like 3/4 of what he makes in a month,
He was
which
in
is just
tears.
insane. And to us, I think it was 20, 30 quid.
30 quid, yeah.
And to him, it was like him working 3 weeks because he wanted to take his girlfriend to the zoo for their
and he couldn't
anniversary,
afford
and he
it.
couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah.
It's-
So we basically bought them the tickets to go for the zoo, which.
But we never do it for people that ask. Of course, you're going to run into a lot of people while traveling, especially through Asia, that try and get your money, will overcharge you. India was a big one for us. A lot of people that we thought were being nice to us in the end just wanted money from us.
Yeah.
But people like that
Do you want to talk about the time that in India? So we've just paid to go for an elephant tour, right? And the taxi and that's included. And we thought the taxi driver was so friendly.
Nice,
He's like, do you want to go see this and that and the bridges and stuff? And he's like, oh, do you want to come see some fabric design and see how it's made? And Izzy likes like stuff like that. So we were like,
But you also feel like you can't say no because they're being nice and friendly that you're just like, oh, okay. And we got to this fabric shop, didn't we? And they like ushered us upstairs. We didn't really think it was anything like, oh, they're taking us to like this, but it was. But we went upstairs and this guy that owned it, bless him, was like showing us all these rugs and beddings and everything
Print
like
designs.
that. And they were like, I can give you like this price for this price, and I'd do 2 for 1 and all this. And we were like, oh, okay. And he was like bringing us tea and everything.
We kept saying no at first to everything,
we
but
really don't want
we
anything.
literally just felt like he wasn't going to stop. So
we knew we had to leave with buying something, otherwise we would feel awful, but we also feel like they would be really angry with us. So we bought some in, didn't we? And we gifted it to
Sale. But then we found out it's the taxi driver's fault because they get commission. Whatever their like people they bring in and they get money, they get commission off it.
Yeah.
So.
When we finally got to leave, we were like, oh no, we really need to go now.
Yeah.
We've got something later that we need to be.
Because cheeky little
It
sod.
was like
You bought
having
something.
tea with his,
You bought something. And like you could tell we didn't want to buy it, and then after you bought it, you kept
still try and sell you more, and I'm like, no, I'm being nice by getting one.
Yeah, I don't
because
even want
feel
this.
bad. But we went downstairs, and then the taxi driver was like just sitting
Drinking
having tea
tea,
with all his
that
mates,
way.
and we were like, just take us back to our hotel.
Yeah.
And also in India, when our last day of leaving and we ended up missing that bus, that was a whole thing. You definitely need to watch
the
that
India video, yeah.
And there was a guy that we'd been talking to the whole time, wasn't he? And he was calling them for us because, you know, we could obviously speak the language.
Hindi.
And then at the end he was like, oh, I'll take you to get this taxi. And we were like, oh, thank you so much. And we got there and he was like, oh, I'll take you to an ATM because we didn't have enough cash because we hadn't planned on having to get a taxi from Agra to Delhi. And then he was like, oh...
You got $6,000.
I got 6,000
5,000
for the taxi. And then he asked for the remainder. And we were like, oh, okay. We thought he was just being nice, but he was doing it for
again, just
something.
doing it for something.
Which I guess at the end of the day, if you're only making like that guy in India 70 quid a month, I can't really blame people for
stuff
trying
like
to get
that.
as much money as possible.
Just
but
be careful, know your surroundings, don't trust anyone.
Also know all your currency, like know all like your currency divisions, because if you don't, you could end up being like completely scammed out of way more money than you should be. Bartering is a big thing. We've not really bought much at all, have we?
We've not
really. The only things we've been buying from each country is a postcard.
I bought for them though.
Yeah. There's some people really. I think someone tried to charge like £3-4 for a postcard, and we were like, no.
I got it down to like 50 pence.
Yeah. But yeah, always just know things like that.
Just be careful and just don't trust anyone. Like I said, if it seems too good to be true, it usually is.
But saying everything like that, I've never felt unsafe. I feel like we've been really fortunate and lucky. We've not had any really negative experiences.
No, not really.
We've not lost anything, had anything stolen from us. No one's. Of course, there are people asking you for money, but they're not going to steal your money from you if you just have to keep saying no. But I would say we've had a really
good experience. Yeah, and like I said just before, it's the best experience of my life. I wish I'd done it.
We would recommend it to anyone, and because it is so cheap to travel through certain countries in Asia, you know, it's crazy.
It's well worth doing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's
pretty much everything
we wanted to say.
We just want to say thank you to everyone who watches and subscribes. We've hit like 1.3k, which is remarkable.
Like we came away with 100 subscribers, and we've just been making videos for us, for family. For us to watch in the future, to look back on, for family to watch, to keep updated with what we're doing.
We never thought it'd actually do. Like obviously we're not big, but like for us to get 1.3 is like it's amazing. Before we were going away, we were like, oh, imagine if we hit 500 like at the end of traveling. We hit 1.3. So thank you to every single person that's watching it. Thank you to all like friends and family and everyone who's subscribed and support us and stuff.
Stay tuned.
Couldn't do it without you. And if you've got any ideas of videos that you would like to see, give us a shout, because
yeah, right in the
we
comments below.
obviously want to do things that you want to see. Any places that we should go in the Philippines, any places we should go to Australia.
Yeah, Australia's going to be... So when we're in Australia, obviously we're going to be working for the first 3-4 months, so we might not be able to make as many... we might not be able to make as many videos while we're working. Obviously we'll still get days off, so we'll try and film on those kind of days. Obviously we're spending the first week in Sydney, so we're going to be doing New Year's in Sydney. We also want to be buying a camper van, so we'd like to do like a whole couple of videos on buying that as well. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching and watching us for the past 6 months. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned for way more videos, way more content from us. And thank you so much for subscribing and watching, and please like this video.
Really appreciate it. Up the marks.
Yeah. And we will see you in our next video, which will be
the 22nd,
yeah, the
when we go
22nd,
to the
going to
Venice Mall and the BGC.
Yeah, we're going to a fireworks show as well at the Mall of Asia for like a Christmassy thing, so that should be really nice. We've also got Christmas in the Philippines. Yeah, so many more videos to look forward to, so please subscribe and we will see you in the next one. Bye! Future to look back to, yeah. But we do. Well, I know mine. Oh, my legs are getting numb.
No. What?
My feet are so numb.
I know, me too. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Yeah,
Oi, oi, oi.